streaming. The Everyday Dad is now live according to the email I just got. What's up, everybody? I'm the Everyday Dad. Welcome to the weekly live stream. If you're joining us afterwards, welcome back to the replay. We love having you. So you got me today. You got me, the Everyday Wife. Everyday Wife, say hi.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
And the extra bonus of today is I think we finally fixed our audio. Can't tell because, you know, I'm not wearing my audio monitoring devices, otherwise known as AirPods. But I think I finally figured out what the problem was. So, real quick before we get started, if you have ever used OBS and you use an audio input device, that audio input device is the only thing that matters. So we had to delete the audio input device, and hopefully it is now working. Let us know if the audio is good. This actually might be the first time you actually hear the Everyday Wife because she has a functional microphone. That, you know, live stream over. We've done it. We've got the audio to work. Are we good? Are we? I'm looking over.
Me?
Over. Yeah, you.
Oh.
You're okay. Over to the Everyday Wife.
No, why? What?
Okay, welcome back to me. All right, so we've got some things to talk about. If you're new to the live stream, what we generally do, we talk about the channel, the week in review of the channel. I've got some things I want to talk about. Then we will do some Q&As, and we'll just go from there. This might be a slightly shorter live stream. As I was messing around with this for so long, my camera battery is now like edging towards the halfway point. So we'll see. I'm going to keep an eye on it. May end up being a little shorter. We like to go generally about an hour. So let's talk. Well, hold on. Let me bring up my things to talk about. So as I am a tech channel, I think I may just be a DJI channel because this has been like the week/month of DJI, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But I do want to talk about some other cool tech stuff. So unless you were living under a rock, like a generational thing happened this week, and that was SpaceX launching the Falcon Heavy. Now, unfortunately, I was stuck in a meeting when this happened, but this is some amazing, like, this is the future happening in front of us. I say it all the time with like the little stuff I review here on the channel, but like that is legitimately a modern like wonder. Like, not only were they able to launch it, they were able to recover 2 of their boosters. That's just like, maybe we're gonna check out space. You know, that's ever since you're like a little kid. What's up?
I was gonna say, it's historical.
Oh, it's super historic. Just, it's so exciting. And, you know, I obviously was not around the last time rocket. Well, maybe I was around. When's the last time a rocket went off from like NASA? The Everyday Wife used to work.
Not too long ago out of Cape Canaveral.
The Everyday Wife, over to you. The Everyday Wife used to work for NASA.
No, don't be dropping it like that. No, I mean, I don't have their schedule or anything, but I have a friend that went down there and just saw one shoot off out of Cape Canaveral in Florida. So there you go. That's all I got to say about that.
Awesome. What?
Thanks.
So, but like actual space exploration, that's super exciting. So I've played a video game called Kerbal Space Program, and I can barely get a rocket out of the atmosphere in a video game. I cannot imagine what they had to do, the math, the science, the work behind the precise engineering to get not only the boosters up, but to get them back. Like, that's some legitimate active tracking, obstacle avoidance stuff. And I made this joke. I forget who I made this joke to in the comments, but yeah, they've got obstacle avoidance figured out because they avoided the whole planet with that car. Like,
oh, ha ha ha.
Somebody forgot the sound box.
No, somebody was playing with it earlier.
Not naming any names. We're trying to, when you see me do this, we're trying to look at each other through the ring lights because like I've got the ring light, she's got the ring light, and I'm like looking through everything. But hey, something I forgot to mention, some housekeeping business about the live stream. If you have any questions or comments, the Everyday Wife is monitoring the chat. So if you shoot a note to her saying like at Everyday Wife or at Wonder Wife, I'm sorry, she's Wonder Wife. So at Wonder Wife, she'll try to take your comments. If you got a good question or comment, she'll let me know. Or if you want to leave a super chat, we'll definitely see that because they pop right, you know, it like flashes right in my face. So if you want your comment right to the top, we'd appreciate that. And then any super chat of $6 or more gets you, I continue to forget them, but any super chat over $6 or more gets you a Everyday Dad magnet and postcard combination. And Nick Alston, if you're out there, I still owe you yours. I have not forgotten. We'll send yours out here shortly. Okay. Yeah, space and science Fascinating stuff. Fascinating. Yes, I see. Are you looking?
What?
Over? Are you looking
I'm
over
just
here?
trying to see you while you're doing you, but it's hard to see you through the hoops.
So something that I was trying to, one of the reasons that the camera is now low on battery, something I was trying to do was like set up a desk on this side and have us both on the camera at the same time, but it doesn't work right now. Something we're working on. So, onward and upward. So this week we concluded the conversation about the Mavic Air. This guy right here. Which, unfortunately, I continued to forget the stickers that normally go on my drones. But you guys get to be the very first ones to see shiny stickered, silver stickered, TED 4, officially christened TED 4 drone. Boom. Dropping some knowledge. Man, something just got in my eye. This is what happens on live. But anyway, so we finished up talking about the 2 weeks, the Aeropalooza, as I called it. Great drone. It is a great drone, but it was confusing me for a while because, as I said in a lot of the videos, it's not an upgrade for the Mavic Pro. It's an upgrade for the Spark. That's not a bad thing. I love the Spark. Having an upgraded Spark is a good thing. But if you go into it trying to get a Pro, you will absolutely be disappointed with it. Not that it's, I don't know. Here's the problem. If it wasn't as good as it is, I would definitely say, hey, maybe don't get this one. But it's so good. Like I have no problem recommending it. It's this weird thing because the thing that people want to know, hey, should I get this or should I get the Mavic Pro? And it's such a hard question to answer because they're not the same thing. It's like I tried to, hopefully I was able to articulate this in Friday's video. It's that, I don't know, you take the Spark, but instead of making a Spark 2, you're like, hey, the Mavic, it's our top-selling drone, and it's the name that everybody knows. Let's call this next drone a Mavic instead of a Spark. Because, like, it's great. I don't know, weird. Just weird. It's not weird. I'm weirded out that I have conflicted feelings about it, because I love that it does everything I wanted both drones to do. That part's awesome. But it's just weird. I just wish they hadn't called it a Mavic. I wish they'd called it something else. Maybe like a whole other new classification of drone if they didn't want to call it the Spark. But yeah. Get out the house, go fish. I have not had any shakiness issues. If
Come here.
if 51 Drones is here, he actually figured out what the problem was. I guess the cold weather for the IMU was causing some problems with it shaking, and the DJI has since released an update causing the shakiness to go away. But it hasn't been nearly cold enough here for any of those issues to happen. Mark Hunt, new to drone life. What's my best option for now? Mark Hunt, new to drone life. What's my best option for now? Mavic Air, Mavic Platinum, or wait for Mavic 2 or Evo? Really depends on what you're looking for. Like I said, the Mavic Air is fantastic. The Platinum's fantastic. If it were me, everything I want out of a drone, the Air can do. Like, legitimately everything that I currently want out of a drone, the Air can do. But if the Mavic Pro 2 comes out and has like a 1-inch sensor, exceedingly awesome flight time, is quieter, that would probably be a fantastic one too. Because like I am telling you, a 1-inch sensor in a drone would be amazing. Like one of the things, like what is everybody talking about? What is everybody talking about when they talk about 1-inch sensors? Buckeye Nation. Is it sad that Saturday live stream is what I look forward to every weekend? Well, I certainly hope not, because it's definitely what we look forward to doing every weekend. Am I right?
Yes.
Definitely not paying attention.
I'm typing.
But hey, thanks so much, Buckeye Nation. We really appreciate it. So that's a good segue into who cares if there's a 1-inch sensor, right? So that gets thrown around in the forums a lot. It gets thrown around on YouTube channels a lot. Who cares if there's a 1-inch sensor on the Mavic Pro? My cell phone does not have a 1-inch sensor, and it can do some pretty good photos with the camera right there. So sensors, there's actually I don't have a link to it, but a video you should watch if you want to know the comparison between sensors is go to iPhonedo, probably one of the best tech reviewers on YouTube today. Go to his channel. He has a Hasselblad, like a medium format camera that he reviews, and he really goes step by step what sensor size is. But the bigger the sensor, the more light that you can get onto that sensor. And that means you can do things. Basically, there's two things why people want bigger sensors. The more light, obviously, you can do better low light photography, better low light videos because it lets more light in. So if you look at my Lumix G9 as a micro four thirds, it has a very small sensor compared to like the Sony a7R III, which is a full frame, which is a much bigger sensor. So theoretically, the a7R III is a better low light camera than my Lumix G9. I don't really do low light stuff, so it's not a big problem for me. But another thing that people really like in sensor size is the bigger the sensor, the easier it is to get a shallow depth of field. So your depth of field in photography or videography is how much of this is in focus. Like a shallow depth of field means a very small amount of the picture is in focus. So what you can do with that is, if you saw my photo on Instagram today of something we'll talk about here in just a minute, the Osmo Mobile 2, you can see that the Osmo Mobile 2 is in focus, but the background is blurred out. And that's what you're looking for when people say shallow depth of field. That means they're trying to get just straight out of the camera, image in focus with the background blurry. And bigger sensors make that easier. So when people are talking about the Mavic Pro 2 having a 1-inch sensor, they want to be able to get better low light photos, and they want to be able to create that, not necessarily create a shallow depth of field, but have more control over the shallow depth of field. If it also has a manual aperture like the Phantom 4 Pros do, I believe they have a manual aperture, you'll be able to decide how much light gets into that camera, and you can do much cooler things than on the Air, which yes takes amazing videos and photos, but you're limited to the sensor size, unfortunately. Now you got me talking about camera nerd stuff. So one of the things, I think 20-ish% of the reason I even do YouTube stuff is I've turned into a total camera nerd over the last few months, and yeah, pretty crazy. Okay. AC Visanu. AC Visanu, you're gonna get mentioned here in just a little bit. Welcome to the live stream. How did I get the Osmo Mobile 2 so fast? Basically,
miracle?
It's not a miracle. It's not a miracle. I learned my lesson. Is Stan Cook here? Has anybody seen Stan Cook?
Yeah, I think he checked in earlier.
Stan Cook. So I learned my lesson by dealing with Stan Cook with the Mavic Pro Platinum. So I set I was like, hey, the Osmo Mobile 2 is coming out. I definitely want one of those. Let's sign myself up for the notifications. I got the notification at like 2 o'clock in the morning one day saying, hey, they're in stock. And I learned, because the last time I got that notification for the Platinum, I did not jump on that, and I did not get the Platinum as soon as I wanted it. So as soon as I got the email, I was like, I am ordering one. So I ordered it as soon as I got the email at like 2:30 in the morning, and I got the Osmo Mobile 2. This guy. We'll talk. I promise we'll talk about it in just a second. But that's how I got it. DJI didn't send it to me. I just knew that if I didn't order it immediately, I would never get it when I wanted it. And okay, we'll just talk about it right now. Actually, one thing real quick. So if you get the Osmo Mobile 2, it comes in one of these great cases like the Spark comes in, but I already broke mine. Yeah, I already broke this.
What is it? What did you break?
The case that it came in.
What? How did you break it?
Well, funny story. So when you're putting it in, you may notice that there's a little hole right there.
Oh.
That little hole is for this thing.
What is it?
The clamp. Well, the adjuster clamp. If you put that in backwards and you try to shut the box, you break the box. Lesson learned.
Oh,
There you go.
Try to strong arm it in there?
I'm not saying I didn't strong arm it. I haven't broken anything in a while. I think we were due for a good breaking something on the channel. So, if it was just the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 box, it kind of worked out pretty well that it was just that. But yeah, so the Osmo Mobile 2, I had a chance to play around with it today. Delicious. I had a chance to play around with the Osmo Mobile 2 today. So something we do in the live stream is I talk about what reviewing the cheapest the next week will be. And this week, this coming week, the reviewing the cheapest will be the Osmo Mobile 2. Because it is the cheapest DJI Osmo Mobile you can get.
Oh, clever.
I thought about that. I was like, how am I going to shoehorn this into reviewing the cheapest? But it is the cheapest Osmo Mobile you can get. So welcome to reviewing the cheapest this week. A lot of things I really like about this gimbal. A lot of things I really don't like. Spoiler alerts for the video on Monday, but it feels cheap. It feels cheap. The Osmo Mobile 1 feels really good. I mean, it has the same basic shape, so it still feels good in the hand, but it feels plasticky. However, and I want to test this out more tomorrow. It's supposed to storm a lot tomorrow, so I may be like with an umbrella testing out the Osmo Mobile. But this thing, and I hadn't heard anybody talk about it, but we were out bicycle riding today, and it's got a mode called walk mode, and I didn't notice it at first, but I put it into walk mode, and if you go to my Twitter account, at @every_daydad, if you go to my Twitter account, you can see a video I put up, and again, this is just a very quick preliminary video, I hadn't done any significant testing, but one of the big problems I've had, not just with the Osmo Mobile 1, but with the Zhun Smooth Q, with the Snopa M1, with any cell phone gimbal is the optical, this is an iPhone 7 Plus, and all the cameras from the iPhone 6s Plus and up, at least one of these cameras has optical image stabilization in it. What that means is, the camera moves around a little bit as your hand holding it to take some shake out of video and to make your photos be more crisp so that when you're taking your photos, there's no movement of the sensor or the camera. Well, that has a problem with gimbals because as you're walking, sometimes if you do something big, like you take a step, like I have a heavy step, when I take a step, the optical image stabilization tries to activate, the gimbal tries to activate, and they both kind of like counteract each other. And so you get this really weird warping effect. If you look at the background of any of my gimbal videos, you'll see this like warping in the background. Once you start seeing it, it basically makes the footage unusable. However, when I tried it out today and put it into walk mode, I didn't see any of the warping. I haven't had a chance to pop it up on like a big screen yet, like my TV or anything. But just reviewing the footage on my phone itself, I didn't see any warping. And if that's the case, this will be the gimbal I take with me everywhere. Like, I will not use another cell phone gimbal, period, because I like having my iPhone. I mean, if you remember back to what I was excited for CES live stream, the whole reason I was excited about these new cell phones coming out was just so I could get a mid-range camera, or mid-range cell phone with a camera to use with my gimbals, because the iPhone was basically garbage with gimbals. So if they figured it out, if DJI figured out how to get an iPhone to actually work with a gimbal, DJI will have won. Like they will absolutely have won. And I think I just said that last week about them winning with the Mavic Air. DJI has been nailing it. Like, they've been batting 1,000, like nailing it out of the park. So if you're not one of the regulars, I am not sponsored by DJI. I buy all of these drones, all of these gimbals myself. Nobody sends them to me. But I'm just so impressed with what they're putting out right now. And again, I'm not making a definitive statement on the Osmo Mobile 2. I haven't had a chance to really get out there and use it. I only used it for like 30 minutes today, but I'm really, really impressed. But I will say, now I know this is kind of like where the youngsters with their Facebooks and their Instagrams, the one thing that I tried to get working, I couldn't get working, is you can move this so that you can do like vertical shots, so you can get it in square 1:1 aspect ratio instead of the 16:9 that you're currently watching me on. And it's for like Instagram stories and stuff. Kids just need to learn how to turn their phone sideways. But yeah, so that's the Osmo Mobile 2. Very excited. We're going to talk about it.
Quick question from Jonathan.
Oh, hold it. Over to the Everyday Wife.
I'm a mess over here, but sure, transfer to
Hell, that's the Everyday Dog. Everybody's been asking us about the Everyday Dog. That's the Everyday Dog.
Yeah, she's hanging out with me tonight. Jonathan is asking, is the walk mode exclusive to the Osmo Mobile 2, or is it part of the firmware or part of the DJI app? I know you used it today when we were out.
That's a good question. I guess, well, let's find out. Everyday Wife, can you do me a favor?
What?
So in the studio over there, there's a bag that says DJI on it. It has the DJI Osmo 1 in it. We can find out, because when you're using the Osmo, you're not using DJI Go 4 like with all the new drones. You're using DJI Go like the older version. So let's just find out right now. All right, can you?
It's gonna be a minute.
Okay, so in just a second we'll find out, and we'll get an answer for you right now, live. You know, boom, boom. Okay, what do we got? We'll go through the comments real quick. Bill Utah didn't know that. Oh, hold on. Oh, Bill Utah, congratulations on 14,000. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, we hit 14,000 subscribers today. Like, the channel is just hurrying up. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that watches. This has been a seriously awesome experience. And I can't believe we hit 14,000. Like, we just hit 10,000 like in January. Like, so again, the goal, if you are new, our goal for 2018 is 50,000. And I think we could be able to get it. I think we might be able to knock it out. I'm hoping. I'm pulling for it. What do we got? Rich Lang, which drone is the best? That's a loaded question. You ask, 10 different people, you get 10 different answers. The best drone is the one you have on you, just like your camera. So the camera that I end up using the most is not my super expensive camera that you're looking at me on right now. No, there's a bag. There's a bag like on the third shelf, second from the bottom.
Okay. Bag, third shelf.
Yep, bag, third shelf. It says DJI on it. So the best drone, just like the best camera, like I was saying, is the one you have on you. And that's the real magic of like the Spark and the Mavic Air it's so easy to just have it on you. So like I want a Phantom 4 Pro so bad, and I had a Phantom 4 Advanced for a while, but there's no way I'd be able to take that with me. Like, I fit all of my stuff into a very small, I mean, you've seen my camera bag. It's generally like laying down, open, sprawled out everywhere when I'm making videos, and that's what I got to fit all my stuff into. A camera, a tripod, a couple of lenses. That's it. A couple of lenses. No, I can't catch it. You might break it.
Well, I just can't get over it.
Oh. A couple of lenses, cameras, maybe an action camera, a drone, controller, batteries. So I fit all of that into my one camera bag. But hey, was it Jonathan Maxwell that asked the question?
Yes, about the walk mode.
Let's find out. So whoa, just hit sorry for that noise. This is the Osmo Mobile 1. This is the Osmo Mobile 2. Hopefully this has battery life in it. And we'll see if there's a walk mode for this. And if so, then yeah, I guess the Osmo Mobile 1 would be a great one too. And over to the Everyday Wife to talk for a second while I figure this out.
Okay, what should I talk about? So gimbal, I got to use the Osmo Mobile 2 today. I was just holding it, and then you have your phone there, and you hit the record button on the gimbal, and then you hit the person that you want to track, and it was like actively tracking. So I think you'll see that in a video, right? Coming up? I don't know, but
yes.
So I got to take some footage today, and it was really easy to use. We had a lot of traffic around where we were riding, and so people were a little bit curious about it. I saw 51 Drones ask, like, how do you get away with people looking at you like you're crazy? I'll be honest, when this whole thing started, I was totally embarrassed. I definitely didn't want to walk around the supermarket with a gimbal like somebody else. You've seen the videos and the vlogs. But,
no, those are hidden.
Well, they're hidden now, I guess, but I was really uncomfortable. But today when we were like kind of around just a little bit of people, it seemed okay. Because we weren't filming other people. There was nobody else in the scenes. It was just the subject. So maybe that will make you get more comfortable with it. So, thanks.
Okay. So yeah, hey, you get used to it. I still, I don't like taking, if I'm going to be around people, I don't bring the big camera around because, people just get weirded out. It's not, you're never doing anything wrong, but people just get weirded out when you've got a camera. So if I'm going to be, filming myself when I'm going to be around people, I bring my Sony FDR-X3000. Or I use my cell phone, because if you're on your cell phone, people are just like, oh, it's just a conceited guy that's doing his Snapchats or his Instagram filters. Whereas if you have a big honking, mirrorless camera, people are like, that's a weirdo. It's a weirdo out there, just like drones, I guess. So you just got to figure it out. Or I go to if I got to do a lot of filming, I just go in the middle of nowhere where there's nobody. But okay, so I just found out there is a walk mode. There's a new button that I had never seen before. I thought it was just part of the Osmo Mobile 2, but there's Osmo Mobile 1. You see this little button right here if you can see it. This will lead you up, 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 up. Scene mode, walk mode. So yeah, I'll definitely be comparing the two to see what differences there are between them. Because that, I'm telling you, that walk mode, that, I don't know. Because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing is I didn't think Apple had any way for you to affect the optical image stabilization. Like, there's no way to go into the code or, you know, the source code of the phone to turn that off. Like, there's no way to do that. So I don't know if, like, the DJI software is now compensating for it. Because I did, when the Osmo Mobile 2 was announced and they were talking about, you know, it's designed for the iPhone, I was really kind of just sitting in the wings saying, you know, I've been using this with my iPhone and it's terrible. That's kind of weird that they would say, hey, it's designed for the iPhone. And I've seen videos online of all these same problems happening with the iPhone X. So whatever they did, if it actually is working, like magic, technological magic. But if there's anybody, that can figure out a solution to a gimbal, it is 100% DJI. Like, their cameras are okay. Their drones are good, but their drones aren't any really better than anybody else's drones. DJI's really one-upsmanship is their gimbal technology. Their ability to microsize it, to make it smaller, to shrink it, to just make it great. So if anybody could figure out how to fix a gimbal, it was absolutely going to be DJI. Absolutely going to be DJI. Yep, we learned, Jonathan Maxwell, we try to learn something every day. Every single day. Sherzad Khan City, Ted was the name of his drone. Well, Ted's the name of all my drones. You know, it's just easy because, like, I'm the everyday dad. And they can definitely hear you over there.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, talking to the dog?
Yeah. They can definitely hear you over there talking to the dog.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I call all my drones Ted because just, you know, Ted 1 through 4. Ted 1's not with us anymore. Ted 1 got sold to get Ted 2. Ted 2 is the blue Spark. Ted 1 was a white Spark that was not the Fly More combo. And I decided that I needed to get the Fly More combo, so I had to, you know, finance it through other means. Okay. Nick, hey, there are not Ted shirts. We should probably do Ted shirts. We'd be like Ted or something, like Ted. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Something like that. I don't know. I don't want to do, like, I like the magnets and I like the postcards because those are little easy things that we can get to people. They can, like, you know, be like, hey, look, I got my magnet from the Everyday Dad. Like, shirts, because, like, a shirt can fall apart, and I don't know, like, physical products are kind of something that I'm still working my way through. Okay, so we got a few more things to talk about, then we'll head straight into Q&A. So, the very first time we're going to do a brand new segment on the live stream. I wanted to do it about midway through. We are currently about midway through. And today is new patron spotlight. So if you want to be able to support the channel, you know, invest in it, you know, we appreciate all the super chats, but we also have a Patreon page. If you want to head over there, you can absolutely, like I said, invest in the channel, support us. But what we're going to do on live streams from now on is we're going to have a segment every live stream where we thank the new patrons to the community. And since we just started it last week, everybody's a new patron. So welcome to all the new patrons. And the Friday video every week we'll be doing, I'll be, like I did this week, I'll be saying a thanks to all the patrons. So, new patron, introduction to the new patron spotlight. Jeff Baker, thank you so much. AC Visanu, Stan Cook, Nick Alston, Wally Garza, Victor Orhan, Rodney, and Steven Shires. Thanks to each and every one of you. And let's just do a round of applause.
Oh, man.
The Everyday Wife is doing it too. Thanks so much to everybody that invested in the channel.
You might be a little loud in your excitement. A lot of people are saying you blew their speakers.
Oh, sorry, I did the horn. Normally when I do the horn thing, it's like on a video and I can control the audio after that. I guess I didn't think of that for the live stream. My apologies. But seriously, thanks to each of the patrons. You guys rock, totally rock. And yeah, we'll go on from there. So every Saturday now, we'll be introducing the new patrons to everybody. And yeah, welcome to the team. Thomas Garrett's the Everyday Dad camera battery check. We are at 1 bar. We're at 1 camera battery bar. So if the live stream, if we all of a sudden lose picture, it's because the camera died. Oh, I think I know what happened.
Oh, did you see Christina's comment?
Yes, Christina, I think I know what happened. And when I was fixing the Everyday Wife's microphone, I don't think I fixed the microphone. So we're using OBS to stream this. And in OBS, you can set up each scene. So like I'm a scene, the Everyday Wife over to you. Oh. She's a scene. So each of the pictures are a different scene, and you got to set up the audio for each scene. I think what happened is that I never deleted the old audio from that, so you got double microphone from this and then from over there. So
and also when I talk, it says people are saying that there's an echo. Bill Utah said it. Christina said it. Maybe Get Out the House too. They're all like, "There's an echo."
She might have an echo because I'm on the XLR microphone. Her microphone is an XLR microphone, but it's not plugged into the preamp. I have it plugged directly USB. Man, it is that kind of. Hold on, I need some more caffeine. The USB is plugged right in there. So her talking. So she has a very pointed directional microphone. So when I talk, you probably can't hear it. But mine is not like that, so when she talks, you might be able to hear it on both. You might be able to hear it on both.
Oh, man. Can you still hear me twice, Christina?
Hearing twice. Hearing twice. Okay. So what do we got left? Well, we already talked about reviewing the cheapest. We already did the new patron spotlight. We already did all that, so let's go to Q&A. We are at 31 minutes. Who knows how much time we have left, because the camera could die at any time. And when the camera dies, the party's over. So we will, let's talk. Bill Utah, hear you with the echo.
So
okay.
I'll stop talking. So
you don't have to stop talking. It's fine if there's an echo.
Annoying.
You're
there's no like rowdy over there, and I'm echoey.
That's fine.
It's too much.
We can always use more of the Everyday Wife. So the echo is just like getting double. You get the double. You get twice as much as the Everyday Wife. Like that's the best you could have, right?
Oh. Reese wants to talk.
Reese doesn't need to talk.
She's getting really close to the microphone. You want to talk to it?
No, nope.
Oh, look, give me kisses.
Okay, hooray.
So cute.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Shirzad Constity, does 1-inch camera mean better tracking? Maybe. It might mean that because, so for the Mavic Pro Platinum and the Mavic Pro have 2 different ways of tracking you. They have Follow Me. They have Follow Me, which means it follows a GPS tracker that's inside of the controller itself. So when you're in Follow Me mode, it follows that. But when you're doing Active Track, the camera uses a contrast-based system. So you say, hey, follow this thing. The camera and the computer inside of the drone are like, okay, we're going to follow this contrasty thingy, and we're going to follow it. And that's how it works. So if it has a better camera, could it potentially follow better? Maybe. Maybe it could be able to, because the Phantom 4 Pro is able to track, and I think it does pretty good track, and I don't know, but that's a really good question. Brian Chen, what DSLR would I recommend? I would not recommend a DSLR. DSLRs are old technology. If you're not doing photography, if you're not doing legitimate photography where you need a full frame sensor, get a mirrorless camera. You can get mirrorless cameras for way cheaper. You can get them for cheaper. They're lighter. I just love mirrorless cameras. AC Visanu, the next DJI breakthrough would not come from their software or hardware, but their customer service. It's probably one of the worst. Well, thanks so much for the super chat. And I've thankfully never had to deal with DJI support. I've dealt with them. Well, I sent them a tweet when I ordered the red Mavic Air, and I was like, hey, when are these coming out? And they were like, well, they'll be out whenever the rest of them are released. I'm like, that can't be right, because you're just saying wrong here. And then they never responded back to me. So thankfully I've never had to deal with that. But yeah, it's just kind of like YouTube, right? So YouTube's the big name and the big game in town right now. But if somebody comes along that has better customer service, is more transparent, that is a weakness. That is a point of vulnerability. Do I think YouTube or DJI are going to lose just based on that? No. But yeah, thankfully I haven't had to use it yet. But yeah, so back to the DSLR comment. DSLRs, yeah, if you're trying to shoot video, I would say unless you're gonna get the like a super high end DSLR, like $5,000 for like the Canon 1DX Mark II, something like that can actually do 4K or can actually do like any kind of frame rates above 30 frames per second, I would not recommend a DSLR. I would say if you're trying to get your very first like video camera, get a Lumix G7. You can get those on sale for like $400. Does 4K, doesn't have the greatest autofocus. It doesn't have the best frame rates, but it does 4K pretty well. Does 1080p 60 frames per second. It's what I really started using for a while on the channel. The kit lens is great. You can get a Sony a5100. It does 1080p 60 frames per second, I think. Has great autofocus. It has a flip out screen. That's one of the things, if you're going to look at Sony's, one of their problems is most of them don't have the flip out screens. Like, if you want to spend a little more, you can get a Sony a6300 that has amazing autofocus. I had one of those for a while, but it was overheating for me. So long story long, I would not recommend a DSLR for video shooting. I wouldn't. I know the big channels are flip-flopping, and if you watch YouTube, if you follow the wave of the YouTube channels, you know, all the big YouTubers went from, you know, Canon 70Ds to Canon 80Ds to, I think they went to Sony, then they went to Panasonic GH5s, then they went back to Canon. I'm a big fan of Panasonic. I really like Panasonic cameras. I think they really knocked it out of the park with the G9, but you don't need a G9 to start out on YouTube. Don't need a G9. Yes, it's my call. Is 4K really worth it? We get into this discussion a lot. I think it's now worth it. If you'd asked me a year ago, I would say no. It is a lot harder to work with. The file sizes are bigger. 1080p will be fine for the near term. But even just walking around Walmart today, I saw 4K TVs for like $400. Like 4K is coming, and it's now getting everywhere. And so I think 4K is personally worth it. John Patrick, Ted or 51 Drones, any tips on a good camera to start a channel with besides phone? Don't want to use my phones with students possible. Trust issues, haha. Like I just said, the Lumix G7, all day. All day. It's an amazing camera. If you can, because the good thing about Panasonic is they also have a great phone app. So if you're having problems with autofocus, if you have continuous autofocus on, like I have continuous autofocus on right now, and I probably shouldn't have it on right now since I don't have a lot of control over it. But they've got an app you can frame your shot, focus on what you want from the phone if it's like if you're trying to, videotape yourself, and then you can just leave it alone and it won't go focus hunting so long as you don't like move in or out too much. But I would say the G7 is the best starter camera. Boom. Like, it's so great. So great. Rich Lang, what advice do you have on starting YouTube? I would just say just start. Like, just start. You're not going to be an expert when you start off. None of us are. Well, some people are experts when they start out, and they grow really fast. But most of us that start a YouTube channel have no idea what we're doing. When I started, no idea what I was doing. You just got to get a little better each video. And if you get a little better each video, you'll figure out how to, how the platform itself works, because you'll figure out your title. Like, there are channels out there that will teach you or show you how to hack the system and do all these little tricks that nobody knows about, and you'll explode because you're able to figure out this playlist thing that nobody else knows about. And yes, there's value in thumbnails, making sure your thumbnails are good, making sure your titles are good, tags. I'm still not super convinced the tags are worth it, but there's one thing that YouTube cares about and will recommend you over everything, and that is watch time. If your videos are getting watched, they will make sure it gets put in front of people. So you have to do two things. In my mind, I'm not an expert. I'm not like an expert YouTuber. I just run a small channel here. But you got to do two things right. You got to get people to watch, and you got to get people to click. And you do those two things by, making great videos. But not just that, thumbnails. Like, thumbnails are, in my mind, the most important thing. So let's take this week, for example, on The Everyday Dad. If you want, you can follow along by checking out the thumbnails I have. I really like the thumbnail for the Friday video where it was like the Mavic Air on the blue box with the shallow depth of field. I bought a prime lens to do that, and I thought that one looked great. The one on Wednesday where it's just like the Mavic Air on a table. What I was trying to go for with that was like trying to show the different props, but that was a thumbnail that just fell flat on its face, and nobody clicked on it because it's a gross thumbnail. And sometimes you have those, but you definitely got to work on the thumbnail. In my experience, and I know we're not talking about drones or action cameras or gimbals anymore, but there was like a live stream at Vid Summit. Vid Summit's this like YouTube creator convention out in California. Well, there's what is the name of those channels? It's like Team Edge. Team Edge is the name of the channel. The guy that runs, one of the guys that runs their channel was out there giving tips on thumbnails, and it really kind of illuminated my thoughts when it comes to thumbnails. So thumbnails, the least important part of the thumbnail is the subject of the thumbnail. So if I'm trying to show off the Mavic Air, the least important part of that thumbnail is the Mavic Air. You really want a contrasty like background to catch somebody's eye. And then you want whatever it's not clickbait. You just want whatever, like something that could potentially be in that video to be like the subject. So yes, the subject is important, but the background is more important than the subject when it comes to thumbnails. Absolutely. Bill Utah, 4K is a bandwidth hog. Yeah, it is. But that's one of the nice things about YouTube is I upload my videos in 4K. People that want to watch them in 4K can watch them on 4K, but people that want to watch them in 480p on their iPhone 3 or their flip phone, not naming any names, or on their flip phone, you can still do that. That's one of the great things about YouTube is it's such a great like equalizer for everybody. Paid 51 drones. I paid $5 for Fiverr for somebody to design it. Oh, I did are you talking about your logo? I did the same thing. Like, I'm not a designer. I have no idea how to do graphic design or anything like that. I outsourced that to somebody that did know what they're doing. We'll probably do another, like I paid for like the super cheap package. We'll probably do more than that now. Because not that I don't like the logo, but I don't know. The logo's kind of like basic.
Are you trying to rebrand yourself?
I'm not trying to rebrand.
Don't be doing that.
I just think we could get a cooler logo with like...
What? How is it not cool?
With like explosions or something.
Explosions.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we are running out of time. So we'll try to do another straight 10 minutes. I am not gonna search through the comments because my oh great, Outlook just crashed.
Oh, listen
Outlook
to Wonder what
just
Bill
crashed.
Utah said.
What's that?
Listen to me.
Bill Utah.
Don't change it. He said he likes it.
If I listened to The Everyday Wife, we probably would not have a YouTube channel.
I mean, it was real sticky in the beginning.
It was. You've seen the videos. The videos were terrible in the beginning. John Patrick started using DaVinci Resolve to edit videos. What do others use? I use Final Cut Pro X. So I've gone through a whole range of what I use for editing software. I started off with a Windows monster of a PC. It's still sitting like right over there. It's like 6 years old. No, it's like 8 years old now. Dang, time flies. It's like 8 years old, barely works. I started off with Windows Movie Maker, like that very first terrible video that we watched a few weeks ago. That was done on Windows Movie Maker. I upgraded from that to Adobe Premiere Elements 15. I used that for a couple of months, but I never really liked that either. I bought CyberLink Pro Director. I used that once, and I hated it. And then I wasn't enjoying editing. There was no way to like grow into it, so I switched over to. I bought a MacBook, like a 3-year-old MacBook. I used iMovie for like 4 or 5 months. Loved iMovie, but I just couldn't. You can't grow with iMovie. iMovie's a great editing app, but there's no way to like grow with it. So I've moved to Final Cut Pro, and I really, really like Final Cut Pro. Like it is so easy to use. Anybody can use it, and you can buy like all sorts of plugins for it. And it's kind of like the Apple, right? Like GoPros or the Apples of the world, where people make the accessories for it. So it's something that I really enjoy using it for. And I tried, so during Black Friday, I bought a brand new laptop, like not a high end, but it was a Dell like gaming laptop. It had a great video card, had a great RAM. It was like twice as good as my MacBook in all the specs. Booted it up, installed Premiere Pro, tried it for 15 minutes, shut it, returned the laptop, because Premiere Pro, there is no way I could do that. I know they make movies in it. I cannot tolerate Premiere Pro. It is terrible. AC Visanu, how easy is it to sync audio in Final Cut Pro X? It's really easy, but it's really easy to sync audio anywhere. So, the way that I sync my audio is, I use this. Most of, like 80% of my audio is captured on this microphone. I just take the audio, like right now, well, let's say we're currently recording a video, because this is basically how I record a video. When we're done, I just take the two files, the video file and the audio file. I put them in Final Cut Pro, and you just stretch out the timeline until you make sure all the little waves are matching, and it works out perfectly well. I mean, I think there's a way to auto do it, but I haven't figured out how to do that, so I just manually do it. And then when you do that, and then you do Shift Command B when you do your cuts, and it will cut everything, so you don't have to worry about like getting unsynced. So it's actually pretty easy. I'm a pretty big fan on it. Orphan View, Mavic Air or Spark. That is all about your wallet. If your wallet can handle the Air, get the Air. Like I love the DJI Spark, but the Mavic Air beats it in every single category. The only thing that the Spark probably has over the Mavic Air is the Spark is a solid frame that I have wrecked several times and had no problems with. I've wrecked the Mavic Air a few times now and haven't had any problems with it either. But if your wallet can afford it, get the Mavic Air. It is better than the Spark, like in every category except that one. Stan Cook, rumors the Spark is going out of production. Yeah, I would say they're probably either going to put it out of production or it would be like their new budget entry-level drone, kind of like what the Phantom 3 Standard is now. I could see the Spark taking over the Phantom 3 Standard as like the entry-level drone. I saw George Price, Spark 2 coming out. So there's like this guy on Twitter that everybody's following. I follow him right now too. And he's had like all the info on the Mavic Pro 2 that everybody's like referencing and all that. He's like the source of information that everybody's using. He sent out a tweet like yesterday or the day before that they're talking about maybe doing a Spark 2. There is no reason to make a Spark 2. Like there is no reason. There is a Spark 2. It's called the Mavic Air. Like if you're going to make a Spark 2, like why? Like why do it? Like that is... So I can see the thought process that gives you a Spark, a Mavic Air, a Mavic Pro, and then the Phantom line. I can follow that train of logic. But once you have the Mavic Air, there is no point in making a Spark 2. Like, because what are you going to do? You're going to give it 4K? You give it 4K, you give it, like, there's just, I think they need to take the Spark, leave it as it is, and make it, like, I don't know, $400 for the Fly More combo. And then that's a legitimate, like, hey, I want to get into drones. I'm kind of nervous about them. Let's get into that. But, like, I would get nervous. I would get nervous if DJI were to release a Mavic or a Spark 2, like that they're now kind of following that GoPro trend, where if you remember GoPro from like 2 generations ago, had like 6 separate cameras out and just confused the market, and they went, like there is a way, like you can lean too far forward and like fall flat on your face. So if you confuse the market, nobody's going to, if you give people too many options, they're just going to pick nothing. I mean, that's like a core of like marketing and salesmanship is if you give people too many options, you just won't, they won't pick anything. Orphan View, there's the new DJI Tello. Well, it's not DJI's Tello, it's Rise's Tello. They just licensed the internal technology from DJI. And I'm definitely going to get one of those because I think that'll be a fun little toy drone to fly around, but it's not a DJI drone. Bill Ricks, Ostaleave. Yeah, that's the person I'm talking about. I definitely, that's the person I've been following on Twitter trying to find out. Because I guess I only started following them after the Air came out. I guess they guessed or they had the inside track on everything about the Air. And it seems like they know about the Mavic Pro too. Maybe they live by like the test facility or something. All right. Maybe we'll be able to make it. We might be able to make it the last 10 minutes. Maybe the last 10 minutes. Okay, what do we got? Rick Halber saw Phantom 5 drawings on the Phantom Pilot site. Yeah, the only thing they can do with a Phantom 5 at this point is they got to give it like interchangeable lenses. Maybe give it a Micro Four Thirds style sensor. Because if you're going to put the 1-inch sensor on the Mavic Pro, like what are you doing with your prosumer drone? Like you got to give it some like pop or whatever. Get out the house, go fish. Thanks for swinging by tonight. Yeah, they got to do like a bigger, like maybe bigger sensor and bigger sensor with interchangeable lenses. But if you're gonna have like little interchangeable lenses, I don't know. I don't see the appeal of having interchangeable lenses on my drone. Like one of the things that I like about the drone is that it's easy, that I don't have to like mess with the lenses. Like I have to mess with the lenses on this thing, and I basically don't. I use like a prime lens when I'm doing B-roll, and I use this zoom lens when I'm doing everything else, because I just can't be bothered to do that. Like I just don't know that I don't know that that's something I'd be interested in. I've never been like I liked having a Phantom 4 in like the 3 days I had it. I don't know that I'd get a Phantom 5. I'm sure it will be a fantastic drone, but it's just not like my style of droning. I'll still probably get one though. I say that now, but I'll still probably get one. Alexander Chasser, will I grow a beard? No, I probably won't grow a beard. Anytime I try to grow a beard, I mean, I can. You can see this is like, I shaved this morning and it's already like grown out. But anytime I try to grow a beard, I make it like 3 days and then it gets so itchy that I can't tolerate it. So, you know, I decided for the channel just to like shave all the time. So now it's just a habit. Plus I got to shave for work. William Kelly, can you use the Osmo Mobile 2 without the DJI Go app? In other words, does the gimbal still work? Let's find out. I think you can. I mean, you could with the Osmo Mobile 1. Ooh, it's been on the whole time. Hold on. I got to set up an Instagram mode. And kids that don't know no better, Instagram mode. No offense to kids that use Instagram. I like using Instagram now too. That's something something I want to work on this year more than anything else is like my photo skills, because I feel like my photo skills are terrible. Let's see. DJI Go app is not on. It works. There you go. Problem solved. The Everyday Dad. Keeping it real.
Look at him
Oh,
go.
did I just turn it off? I just turned it off while I was doing it. But, yep. Absolutely will work. And makes sense. Makes sense. What do we got? Do I have any favorite YouTube filmmakers? I watch a lot of YouTube. It depends on what like what's going on with my channel. So 51 Drones, thanks for coming out. We really appreciate it. Thomas Gerardis, thanks for coming out. Yeah, we're getting ready to close it up. It seems like it's everybody's bedtime. It's definitely my bedtime.
Ooh, hazmat training.
That sounds very exciting. He showed me the binder. The binder is the binder's like the binder's like that thick.
Is
So
it like MSDS hazmat?
something like that. But what was I was just getting ready to say something. What was I just talking about?
Everybody's getting ready to go.
No,
You were talking
oh,
about
my favorite
Osmo.
YouTube makers. So it depends on what's going on. So like right now, I basically spent the whole day watching. His channel's name is DSLR Video Shooter. He has like a fantastic channel about like using. He's called DSLR Video Shooters, but he doesn't use any DSLRs. He uses a lot of Lumix cameras. But he's like he does a lot of lighting videos, and I spent a whole lot of time today watching his lighting videos. But then like 2 days ago, I was watching a whole bunch of like cheesy video gaming videos. It just really depends. Ken Heron, take off the hat, but I can't take, my hair's gross. I can't take off the hat. Like that's my thing, cause like my hair's gross.
Is he a Michigan fan?
I doubt he's a Michigan fan. Ken Heron, definitely not a Michigan
Ask
fan.
Ken,
but-
who's his team? Ken, who's your team?
Okay, my hair's gross. There, you got my hair for a few seconds.
Ken is just here to mess around. Remember he tried to get you to put that camera on me? I'm like, what?
Yeah, he did.
Know me?
Yeah, he did. That's funny. But yeah, it just depends on like what is going on, like what's going on in the channel or in my life, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch these video game things, or I'm gonna watch a million things about drones. One of the things I try to avoid is there's some drone channels I watch all the time, like Ken Heron. You know, it happened to work out that way. Ken Heron. I love watching 51 Drones. I love watching Ready Set Drone, but I try not to watch too many videos about something that I'm currently reviewing, because I don't want to get stuck in like a
Preconceived notion.
yeah, like an echo chamber of, because so there's this thing called, I don't know what the official term is. I'm sure there's a psychology term for it, but I call it the war of first truth. So when you hear something for the first time, it takes less mental energy to accept it than it is to disprove it later. So you watch a video about something you're currently reviewing, you hear whatever they're talking about, and you're like, oh, that is the case. And we got somebody that needs to go in timeout. Put user in timeout. So you do that, and I just don't want to fall in that. So I've been watching a lot less drone videos right now because, like, I'm doing drone stuff. I can now watch more drone stuff now that we're kind of, like, calming down from the Mavic Air. But all right, my camera, I'm getting the red flashing light. So that is going to have to do it for today. Next week, promise that I will actually charge the camera bad. I promise I won't spend like an hour messing around before the live stream. So thanks everybody for, well, I can't show the camera. It's like, it's what is doing here. Let's see. Can you like see it in the reflection? Can you see it? Can you see it in the reflection right there? That's the camera right there. Well, thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks for everybody that donated a super chat. Thanks again to all the patrons. We really appreciate it. Have a great time doing these live streams. We will definitely see you guys next week, next Saturday for our very next live stream. And yeah, have a great evening. Everyday wife?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say?
Can you still see me? I don't even know.
Do you have anything to say?
Don't have anything. Thanks everybody for coming out, and thanks for hanging out with us. And see you next week.
See you guys then. Thanks for watching.